fished off the coast of Vancouver, British Island, and up in Canada on the ocean side. Man, just some great adventures. And Nathan, he loves to hunt. We like to play golf. It's two great things to do, and they're both alike because you go to the woods and look for something. I got to tell you a little story about Nathan. He was in college one year, and that particular year he had one day he could hunt because of his school schedule. And I said, "Son, would you like to go hunting the next morning, tomorrow morning before you go back to school?" And he said, "Yeah, I sure would, Dad." So I took him out to a farm that had a fresh cut soybean field, and they cut them kind of late that year, and I knew there was a lot of residual beans in the field, and I got him in this ladder stand, about like that one in the corner back there, and set him in there before daylight, and he had a buck or doe tag, didn't matter. I was just hoping he'd get a shot since he had such a small window to hunt. I left him there, and about 9 o'clock, by then I hadn't heard a shot. So I went back to the stand. He was sitting up there still, and I whispered, "You see anything this morning, son?" He said, "No, Dad, I saw a pretty sunrise, and it sure was a nice morning, but I guess I better get on back and head back to school." I said, "Son, don't go anywhere. Just give me 15 minutes. I'm going to walk down this fence row and get in this thicket behind you. Something may be bedded down back in there by now. Maybe it'll come out by you." So I got in there and started pressing through that thicket, and I tore up a good pair of camo trying to get him a deer stirred up. I got about 100 yards from where he was, and I hear, boom! And you know how you'd be as a dad. You got your kid out there hunting. Yeah, boom! Another shot. 2 more shots, total of 4 shots. I kind of knew what was going on. I did commentary as the shots went by. It sounded like this. Boom! Oh, wow! Boom! Oh, yes! Boom! Oh, no! Boom! Oh, well. Yeah, I got up to the stand. He was already on the ground. I said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Dad, a big old deer, big-bodied deer came out of there. Had a nice rack." He said, "I took 4 shots at him." I said, "Yeah, I know. I heard you. You think you hit him?" "No," he said, I didn't hit him. I could tell by the dust flying up behind him I didn't hit him." I said, "Well, we're going to make sure we're not going to leave the farm unless we know." He said, "Dad, I do need to tell you one thing. When I took that last shot, I could see your truck in the scope." We mounted that Silverado over the mantle. It looks good. Little memories. Here's the deal. Here's the deal about the outdoors and kids. Men seem to converse better. They seem to talk better when they're doing something. And you might call it the distraction of action. You ever notice when you're fishing and you're cranking that reel, it makes your jaws move? And you just talk away. You might not look at each other, but you're just talking away because it's of the distraction of action. And that's what the outdoors can provide, especially for a dad who may say things out there that he may not say anywhere else. Sometimes he'll say things that are desperately needed to hear, like in the life of this young man. We were side by side in Daddy's old deer stand. Cold December day, I couldn't feel my hands. And then he whispered my name as he looked out through the timber. And what happened just then, I'll always remember. He said, "I love you, son. I'm proud of my boy. I'm glad you came along. You've been my joy. To get a trophy like that is the dream of every son." That day was the day I got my first one. was facing 52. I was pushing 23. Don't know why it took so long for him to say those words to me. We hunted hard that day, but we didn't pull the trigger. Oh, but what I took home, they don't come any bigger. He said, I love you, son. I'm proud of my boy. I'm glad you came along. You've been my joy. To get a trophy like that is the dream of every son. And that day was the day I got my first one. To get a trophy like that is the dream of every son. And that day was the day I got my first one. Dads, if you're sitting next to your son or daughter, I want you to give them a hug, tell them you love them, and give them $100. Yeah, these kids like me now.